Welcome back to Bridging the Gap. I'm Sally Engelman, Vice President of Growth at BridgepointMD, and I'm joined again by our co-founder, Harriett Flowers. In our last episode, we covered the big lessons learned from running an ACO, setting priorities, engaging physicians, and balancing quality with costs. Today, we're going to move on from what matters to how to make it all work, focusing on the tools and the infrastructure that turn strategy into action. Harriett, last time we spoke, you emphasized how important having the right infrastructure is. So now, where should leaders start when they're building the technology and operational backbone for an ACO?
Well, the best place to start is understanding you're going to be measured to the test. So the CMS has their own criteria, and they're very firm about that. And you either make it or you don't. So you start there, and then you start looking at quality and cost metrics, building workflows and reporting, dashboard capabilities around an impact against these metrics. So you know when you have made progress. And that's both within the ACO operation and the physician practices themselves. So integrating EHR, claims, patient satisfaction into dashboards that have metrics aligned with the MSSP metric definitions that we just talked about. And the corresponding benchmarks let the physicians monitor their own performance once they know what to look for, far sooner than they would waiting for the CMS reports to come out a year and a half later.
And it goes without saying for our audience that recreating metrics, CMS metrics, and integrating data sources is easier said than done. But once that's in place, how do we then use the data to inform the operations of the ACO?
Yeah, you're right. It's a lot of work to pull all that information together, create the metrics, and create the dashboard. So that's just the beginning. So from there, leaders need to translate the data into personalized feedback for the physicians. Not all physicians are doing well and not all are doing poorly. So you have to kind of measure the two and approach each physician very specific to what they need to do. And if there's room for improvement, you provide education, coaching, help them meet the benchmark. Most physicians are competitive and with the right support can improve and eventually excel.
That's right. Physicians are competitive and really want to do well. So I think if we give them the right information and the right tools, most are, intrinsically motivated to meet the benchmarks and maybe even exceed.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed. So if that all goes well, how do you go from simply having a dashboard to using it to really drive that measurable improvement over time?
Yeah. Each group operates a little differently, of course. You work with each group's quality committee or administrative leaders, however they are set up internally, to create a regular forum to review performance and share individual reports. We can't expect busy physicians to hunt for the data. We need to bring the data to them in a consumable format. So dashboards need to have just the information that the physicians need to focus on. And the dashboards are meant to be dynamic, changing as the focus of the ACO changes as the physicians progress and start meeting their benchmarks. So use the dashboards as the basis for periodic meetings with frontline teams to discuss their performance against the ACO metrics and benchmark. The dashboard is a leave behind and it's a reference for them when you're not there.
So that leave behind and the scheduled, dedicated, recurring meetings to review the performance is really a great way to keep this front of mind and in focus for busy physicians. And so how do you keep those meetings productive and worthwhile for physicians month after month?
Yeah, I mean, you spend all your day, looking at what they should do better, how this all works, all the metrics behind it, but physicians are human too. So start small. most humans can only focus on maybe 1 to 3 things of priority metrics at a time, and engage the physicians, and this is key, engage the staff as well in creating the improvement plan, whether that means adjusting documentation, sending targeted patient outreach, or refining the clinical workflows. But come with quantitative data to inform the approach and pivot as needed. If they don't internalize it, this objective data, they won't change. And remember, again, that you have to change the practice staff. So if the physician hasn't integrated, the staff won't integrate. So track their priorities on the dashboard so everyone can see progress and celebrate wins. So physicians are competitive, and all you really have to do to celebrate a win is tell them that they did, that they were the best, and they're going to be very happy.
And we want happy physicians and happy
We
staff.
do.
And so you celebrate the wins, you met the goal. How do you know when you move on to the next set of goals or set of priorities?
Well, let's just go back to the dashboards and reports, of course. We use those tools too. It's not just for them. As most of the providers are meeting and approaching their benchmarks, then it's time to reassess, identify new goals, and continuing to improve. Since you've been reviewing progress routinely with everyone being on the same page about when it's time to move forward on new goals, it'll feel natural.
That makes a lot of sense and seems like a really collaborative way to go about this between the ACO leadership, clinic staff, and physicians. It really shows how the right tools, physician engagement, continuous monitoring, and all working together is how you achieve success in an MSSP ACO. Thank you, Harriett, for walking us through how to build infrastructure that turns strategy into measurable results. We
All
look
right.
forward to having you back soon.
Well, you're very welcome. Looking forward to it.